Orphan Black. It is Orphan Black time, and I am still sick. It's getting to, like, go to the doctor territory. Anyway, this is Season 4, Episode 3 of Orphan Black. Its title is The Stigma of Progress. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, I want a robot eye!
It looks like Pluto. Pluto isn't even a planet, you know? It's a runt, like your eye.
Rude. Rachel's able to speak more clearly. And we're finally seeing the Caster Boys again. No, don't poke her eye. Ooh, that's gross. They shouldn't make her eye look normal again. Keep a robot eye. If you have it, make it work.
They never tell me when things are bad.
Well, you're a child. Rachel, get up.
Kira, what are you doing?
Kira, don't mess up the game board. Oh my gosh, rude, horrible child.
I knocked over the game.
You did? It was just an accident.
Don't lie for her.
Just thinking out loud.
What's up, Allison? Oh my god, no, Leaky's gonna be so gross. I saw the video online. It's not great.
Donnie, my sister has a robot maggot in her face. You tell me what the solid...
Desperate times.
Hey.
Who are you?
Hi. Sarah, this is Adele. This is my biological sister.
I believe it.
Frankly, I'm not just gonna drop all my shit yet again because you're short a sidekick.
Oh, stand up for yourself.
Alright. Who the hell are you? I just want to talk.
How'd you find him? How come every druggy person on this show has, like, a huge place to live? You know how much that would cost?
Like that.
I live in, like, a shoebox, and I don't waste my money on drugs.
Adam Trip. 400 attempts, I believe.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of babies.
You are the failure, Rachel. You carry my last name, and you are the biggest disappointment of you all.
Hey, that's harsh. Oh god, that would smell so bad.
Must be like a root cellar down there keeping me moist. God, the smell.
Y'all ever smelled a dead body before? It is awful.
It smells like hot garbage juice.
Accurate.
Sir, you stay here. Get some rest. You look like you need it.
Rude.
Sister, you finally answered.
I have news to tell you.
I have been surrounded with a pile of food like that before. I kind of am out of frame right now.
Mrs. Hendricks, I'm Detective Lindstein. This is Detective Collier.
Oh crap, it's not good.
We just have a couple of questions, Mrs. Hendricks. Won't take long.
This is getting sketchy. Helena, you better pull it together. Theater camp this. Sell it.
Hello, husband Donald. Some detective.
Those detectives would totally be able to smell a dead body on him. I am just saying.
Donnie, rest on the crackhead. Get in there for me. Go.
How do you abort that? You literally have a hole with a dead guy in it. You can't just cover it up immediately.
You stay here with Auntie Cosima.
Kira, you're spacing out a lot. It's creeping me out.
All the aunties were there. You set Mom on fire.
What now?
She was changing.
What? This is getting creepy.
The victims were known to police, but not exactly for their civic.
Allison, get out of there!
When we ask your wife a question, you need to let her answer.
Oh, this isn't good.
Carol Lombard was coordinator. Trevor Sawatsky did transportation, and Katima Lechi
How, what? How you doing that, girl?
My biggest support.
They have clone psychic powers. It's just gonna be soup. Oh, that is disgusting. That looks so gross. Oh, God. I feel like I can smell it. Don't puke inside that mask. That would be disgusting. Hey, gross, don't cough up blood on my painting, child.
Nothing. It happens when I cough sometimes.
That's a serious problem, and you're very okay with it.
It's a dental clinic specializing in implants.
Oh, shoot. Why is that dude there? How come we haven't seen him at all during this series? Like, why wouldn't he have been messing with Sarah as Beth?
Maybe she'll let us slide.
She's a scientist and a lesbian. She's not gonna let it slide.
Lesbians don't let things slide?
Anyway, one thing led to another, and I did shoot Dr. Leakey and bury him in the garage. But, it looks like he has one of those nails.
Oh my gosh.
Face. So, sometimes stuff works out.
Eh.
Casima,
that there will be time to debate the do's and don'ts of certain decisions later, but you said you needed someone with science knowledge has to come get it because right now it's encased in some kind of awful pollen. Okay? Great.
I'm good. No, I don't.
Johnny.
Oh my god. You put your phone on mute when you're sleuthing.
Are you crazy? You can't be here.
Beth, what were you involved in?
I'm as upset about all of this as you are.
What's going on?
But you know how to do it. You could do it. Okay, wait here.
What is happening? Ferdinand, what are you doing?
Someone in your organization has one. Kira? Sarah?
Has anyone checked Kira?
Okay, so I'm gonna get you to open up.
Sarah, you are a little too trusting. Who is this chick? That mouth clamp's like really close to her eye. Don't poke at it. Oh god, don't poke at it.
I've penetrated the device, which now means that the slightest movement on your part will cause it to erupt.
You should have told her that before you poked it.
Okay, if you do move, a burst of tendrils will release a fatal dose of tetrodotoxin.
Tell her this before you poke it.
Beth, I am so sorry, but you really don't know what you're getting into here. I had to call my superiors.
Oh god, Sarah, you're an idiot.
Whether you're one of the test subjects. God, you don't know how lucky you are to be chosen.
Oh god, you're in some deep crap. Haha, got your throat slit. Seriously, Sarah's got a thing in her mouth. You probably shouldn't be killing people.
I can't understand a word you're saying, and that's singing in my
Don't pull it out.
Yes, you know.
What's happening?
Sarah, earlier today I received some rather interesting news from Rachel. Susan Duncan is alive.
What is going on?
Helsinki,
Helsinki. I'm reading that comic.
you to control human evolution, darling.
That's probably not something you should control. Dude, I have like crazy veins. Look at this. Good lord. If I was into heroin, my god, I'd have a field day. This one. Let me tell you about this episode. Rachel still got that robot eye, and there's like a caster clone there who's like working on her eye, and he was raised by her mom. Also, that little clone is there, and she's like taking classes online. Seriously, homeschool's the way to go. Cosima and Scott are looking at that worm thing in Sarah's mouth, and they really don't know what it is or what it does. Sarah decides to go find the guy who showed her the video. I don't know how she was expecting to find him. I don't know how she eventually does find him, but she's gonna go look for him. Kira's like spacing out a lot, and the one dude who's like in the comic book store above him, he's trying to play a game with her. She like knocks the game down. Not cool. Donnie's checking Allison to see if she's got the little maggot bot. She ain't got it, but then she's like, wait a minute. I think I know where we can find one to work on, and he's like, oh crap, we're gonna dig up Leaky, aren't we? Sarah wants help from Felix, so she goes over to his place, but there's a chick there, and she's like, who are you? And it's totally Felix's, like, biological sister, who's kind of like a female Felix, which is cool, but still really weird. Sarah's like, hey, Felix, I need you to drop your life and come help me. And he's like, I'm not gonna do it. And she's like, well, forget you. Allison and Donnie are planning to go dig up Leaky, so they're like, hey, Helena, can you watch the kids for a while? We're doing a project in the garage. And again, I'm not sure how she does it, but Sarah finds the guy who originally showed her the video of the maggot bot. She tells him that she's got one of those things in her face and that she needs help to contact MK, and he's like, MK contacts you, I don't know. He also tells her what he believes is the name of the guy in the video with the old maggot bot. Then Rachel is at what is probably the most awkward family meal ever. She's sitting there with her mom and the caster dude. She basically says, hey, look, I figured out why you're gone. You still haven't found the original. Sarah Manning is still totally kicking your butt. Then her mom mentions that that little clone girl was cloned off of Rachel and there was like 400 attempts or something. That's a lot of babies. I mean, I don't think they're all alive because, I mean, you wouldn't do it 400 times if you got it right the first time. Her mom's all disappointed in her and Rachel's like, hey, get out and leave me alone. Allison and Donnie are digging up their garage and they finally get to where Leaky is and it smells really bad and it's just hilarious. Sarah goes to Arts and shows him the video of the maggot bot, and he's like, I'm gonna go run the name of the guy in the video. You stay here and chill out because you're looking rough. Felix is still hanging out with his biological sister, and it kind of gives a little bit of backstory to his origins. His dad was an American who was on holiday in England and slept with a dancer, and so his mom died when he was young. so he kind of went right into the system. His sister's family never knew about him until his father was on his deathbed and mentioned it, so she entered her, like, spit into a genetic registry, so hopefully if he ever looked for her, they could find each other. Helena calls Sarah, and Sarah finally picks up. She tells her that she's pregnant with twins, but then voices concern that she doesn't want the babies to be like her, which is sad. Then, some freaking detectives show up, and they have questions about, like, all the murders at Pouchy's, and Helena's there and has to pretend to be Allison, which is glorious. Donnie wanders in, which, seriously, I'm being serious, I don't want to be too gross, but my dad was a coroner. I've seen some dead bodies. I've been around some varying stages of decay. Also, had my father come home smelling like it. So there is no way 2 homicide detectives did not smell a rotting dead guy on Donnie. It's pungent. Either way, Donnie has to come in and play along with Helena being Allison. And again, hilarious. Mrs. S goes out because she gets a lead on someone who might be able to remove the maggot bot. So she tells Cosima, can you please watch Kira? Kira's spacing out again. Cosima kind of like pokes Kira, and Kira's like, oh, I was just dreaming with my eyes open. Kira's dream was that they were all around Sarah and had to set her on fire because she was changing into something. Weird. Back with Donnie and Helena, the detectives are asking questions because in Pouchy's place was those little, like, Allison political flyers. They're asking a lot of questions, and Donnie's answering all of them, and they're like, hey, let your wife answer. Then they ask her who her, like, campaign people were, and they're like, holy crap, we're about to be found out. And Allison's just, like, standing around the corner, and Helena totally has all of the names. Like, she knew everyone and what they did, and they're like, okay, well, we'll be in touch, kind of thing. And I'm like, what the heck? Did Helena know that? Is she psychic? Then Allison and Donnie are back in the garage, and they kind of, like, get Leaky's face, and they turn it, and there's this big, kind of growth, nasty-looking thing, and they're like, ah, there's a maggot bot in there. Then it shows Rachel sitting with the little mini clone, and they're painting a picture, and as they're doing it, like, Rachel kind of picks the paper up, and underneath she has written, did you get my message out? And the little girl writes, yes. Then they just paint over that message real quick, and then the little girl, like, totally coughs on the painting, and it's bloody and gross. Then Art calls Sarah, and he ran the name of the maggot bot video guy, and it was a guy who lived in town, but moved away, but then came back for one day really shortly, and then left. But when he was in town, he took a cab to this corner place that has a dentist that does implants, so Sarah's like, I'm gonna go check that out. And then when Art's just walking around the department, there's that one union guy who was like a neo-illusionist who was threatening Beth. But seriously, why is that guy there? Like, how come we haven't seen him before? I mean, he thought Beth was alive when it was Sarah. Why wasn't he still messing with Beth? Either way, Art kind of is like, hey, I know you did a house call to Beth. And he's like, yeah, I do that sometimes. I don't know what Art thought he was going to accomplish, but all he did was make himself look very suspicious to this guy. Then Donnie and Allison Skype Cosima, and they basically just tell her, yeah, Donnie killed Leaky and we buried him in our garage, so we have a maggot bot. Do you want it? Cosima's like, wait, what? And they're like, do you want it? Because you're going to need to come get it, because it's in some, like, weird polyp thing. And then Donnie pukes, and it's hilarious. So Sarah goes to that dental place that Art told her about, and she wanders in the back, and there's this, like, dental assistant chick there, and she thinks she's Beth. She says a lot of stuff that's kind of confusing, but she knows Beth, knows about the procedures, says that she's, like, signed to NDA so she can't talk about it, but she's definitely aware of them. She tells Beth that she shouldn't be there and people might see her. Sarah's like, dude, I got one of them and I need it out. The chick's like, okay, hide in the back, I'll see what I can do. Then S is waiting in a park for Benjamin because he's supposed to be looking for a doctor that can remove the maggot bot. Ferdinand shows up and he's like, hey, I know some things about bots and neo-illusionists and vague stuff. Then Art calls Mrs. S and he's like, hey, Sarah was supposed to be investigating a dental place and she hasn't checked back in. Then Sarah's at the dentist, totally letting this chick she doesn't know poke around in her mouth. The chick, like, numbs her mouth and tells her to hold really still. And then she's like, okay, I poked the maggot bot, so you can't freaking move or it will kill you. Sarah's looking freaked out, and the chick's like, oh, by the way, I called my superiors, and they're on their way. But don't move, because you're totally gonna die. The chick said she had instructions to misdirect Beth, and then is like, oh my gosh, it's such a great honor to have a maggot bot in your face. Totally brainwashy sounding. Then the door opens, and the chick thinks it's, like, help coming to arrive. And it's actually Ferdinand who just slices the chick's throat and then pulls the thing out of Sarah's mouth. And he's like, she didn't poke it. If she poked it, you'd be dead. Then Ferdinand says that he got a message from Rachel that Susan Duncan is alive. Then Rachel's laying in bed and her mom comes in and she's like, yeah, I'm sorry I had to like cut the cord with you and not be a mother to you, but you're also like the experiment. Rachel mentions, she had to be raised by Aldous Leakey and like boarding schools and all this stuff and how it kind of sucked. Rachel's mom says that everyone needs a purpose and they're servants to the greater good. Rachel asks what the greater good is, and her mom says that it's directing human evolution to create a more perfect human being. And then credits. I mean, it wasn't like this huge cliffhanger-y revelation like some episodes, but it's still pretty creepy. I don't know if you guys have, but I've been reading the Helsinki comics because some cool person on YouTube linked them to me. It actually explains a lot, and it gives this whole storyline some really cool dimension that I think is a shame to miss. So, dude, guys, you guys gotta read those comics. I always thought the comics were kind of just like filler things between seasons, but they really do delve into like Helsinki and MK and Rachel and all these cool things. It's also really weird to see that Felix is so isolated away from the group, and just based on this show, how everyone seems to be related or involved, I'm so suspicious of his sister, but I don't really think I need to be, but I still am. Because Mrs. S worked with people, and they specialized on putting children in the black, kids that needed to be hidden for some reason. We know why Sarah needed to be hidden, but why did Felix need to be hidden? Or was he actually just some orphan kid she took in, unrelated to this? I don't know. Pretty cool episode. Still didn't explain a whole lot about the maggot worm. Made it creepy. Sarah got poked in the mouth. That's alarming. Kira's freaking out, and I'm not sure what that's all about. This episode really did just pose a million more questions. But I like it. I'm interested to see where it goes. What did you guys think? If I left anything out, if you guys want to talk about anything, drop a comment. Don't forget to do the things. Rate, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Hopefully, I won't be so sick. Until next time.